is a really great online gallery, and it also replaces having a disc or a USB with your images on as well. So today I'm going to give you a really sort of brief introduction. I tried to do one before, but I ended up kind of going through every single feature and it took me about 15 minutes, which I thought was probably a bit too long. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to download your images. So if you are one of my clients and I've sent you a link to your Pixieset gallery, then I'm going to show you how to download it and how to get them onto your computer kind of instantly, so you don't have to wait for a USB to arrive, you don't have to wait for a disc, there's no chance that it can get lost in the post. It's kind of, you consider it sort of at a touch of a button in the same way that iTunes is or something like that. So I'm going to do that quickly, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of some of the other exciting features that it's got that enable you to share it with friends and family. So just to kind of give you a quick overview of it, so when I send you the link, you can just pop it into the top of your browser. You can see here that here's one of the links, and I've got another gallery open here. So I'm using Safari, I'm using it on a Mac, but it doesn't matter what browser that you're using. You could use it on a PC, you could use Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, it wouldn't matter. The only thing that will be slightly different is the way that or what your download setup looks like. I also use Chrome sometimes on my Mac, and I know that when you download something, it appears down at the bottom of the screen here as opposed to at the top like Safari does. But I'm sure you'll know the kind of idiosyncrasies of your own format, so I'll try and do this as quickly as possible. So this is Lara and Gab's gallery. You can see that they have the wedding photos here, there's a beautiful feature image, and there's also the pre-wedding shoot. Things to bear in mind in terms of the download are that Pixieset calls the entire set of photos that are on the gallery a collection. Within that you have mini collections, and as you can see I've broken these ones down. So we have the wedding and we have the pre-wedding shoot. So you have the opportunity to break it down even further. So it could be something like getting ready, the ceremony, the group shots. So there are different ways of categorising the day. With this one I've chosen to kind of keep it quite broad so people can see everything at once. So I'm going to show you, the client, how to download the images. It's a pretty quick kind of workflow, and it really depends on what your connection speed is like. But just to give you an example, I've downloaded 45 high-res images in 20 minutes, and I'm using, you know, kind of fairly sort of standard broadband connection. So I'll come back to Lara and Gav's gallery in a second when I show you some of the sharing features, but I'm just going to hop over to this one, which is a portrait session that I did, simply because there are slightly fewer images. So to download everything, you need first of all a PIN number, which I've just sent you alongside the link to the gallery. So you can see you've got the bar here, so you've got the name of the assignment, dates, and then a couple of little icons here. And the one that we really want to be thinking about is this one, which is download. So it's a little kind of tray and arrow pointing down. We are going to click download, and then it gives us a couple of options. So we just need to put our email address in, which is very important that you put your actual email address in. It's not used for any marketing purposes or anything kind of dodgy. It literally is needed because you need to put a email address into, because the program sends you an email. So you'll need to put in your PIN. So I'm just going to re-enter that just to make sure it's the right one, and then click enter. So it's just loading up. This is going to come up actually saying, do you want to download an existing file? Because sort of whilst I was practicing doing this video, I've already downloaded it, but I'm just going to click start new download. If you need to re-download it, that's how you do it. If you have already, if you haven't downloaded it at all, then you won't see that screen. Now this is the important one. You need to select photos to download. So if you remember me telling you about the collections within a collection, I've got the wedding or the pre-wedding shoot, it's offering me one of these, and that's the only collection that exists within Charlene's session. So you can see here there isn't any mention, so all of these fit into that category highlights. If we were to download Lara and Gab's, we'd have a choice of wedding or pre-wedding. So you can either choose both of them, you can choose just one, you can choose whatever you like. The other important thing to note is you've got different download sizes. So you've got high resolution versus original. Now, this is really a question of how long you want your download to take. Now, as I mentioned, I've got 46 images here and I downloaded them at high resolution and it took me about 23 minutes. Now, so not high resolution at original size, and it took me about 25 minutes. If you have 400 images, then you can times that by about 10. So it's going to be taking you considerably longer if you want to go for the original sizes. So what Pixieset does is offers you the opportunity to have a high resolution image. That is an image which is about 1.5 megabytes, but is kind of cleverly compressed so that you can still print it up to A3. Now the original file size is going to be somewhere between about 3.5 and 5 megabytes, which is still plenty big enough for printing, and it would be exactly the same size that I would give you on the USB. Fundamentally, there is no difference to it. Some people might feel reassured by having a bigger file, but the smaller file is still got the same data and you can still use it in the same way. It's just that Pixieset has compressed it to give you a more pleasant and quicker user experience. But I'm just going to click original for the sake of this because I just want to show you what they look like. So then click Start Download. So at this point you will get this kind of lovely blank screen. You think, okay, where is my download? So I'm just going to pause this for 1 second, go into my email and then show you what the email looks like that gets sent. Okay, so I am now in my email inbox. I can see that I've got an email from Pixieset and it gives me the opportunity to say you can click this link to download, or it gives you one that you can cut and paste into your browser. So if I then click download here, it will open up a new window which will take me to that link, and then I can click download now. That will download a zip file which will go wherever your downloads go depending on your browser. So with Safari, I have a little pop-up here at the side of the screen. You can see where it downloaded it before, highlights one as a folder. Safari has kind of a little nifty thing in it in which it automatically unzips any folders, so that's why it's not showing as a zip folder. But he's there and we can access him, and we can find him in Finder just by clicking that button, and it should pop up in just a second. Okay, so I can click on highlights. This is all of my downloads. Click on highlights. It's called that simply because that's what the mini collection was called. So again, if we revisit that kind of concept that with Lara and Gav, we've got wedding and pre-wedding. Each folder would be called wedding or pre-wedding. So click into highlights and you can see here that we've got the files in sizes kind of 3.3 going up to 5.1, depending on what the size was when it was kind of exported and created. And they're all named. And here are all the files. So I have them downloaded on my computer in sort of 25 minutes, which is, really good and really efficient. So I can save those on my hard drive and use them however I want. Now, a couple of other nifty things on it which are worth kind of showing. Let me just get rid of these windows. Are some of the sharing capabilities. So it's really good to be able to share with your friends and family. So anything that's within this white band here concerns the whole collection. So if we want to click favourite, download or share, then it's going to be for the whole collection. So we have the opportunity to email, Facebook, Twitter, say on Google Plus or Pinterest, the whole collection. So just to show you what the interface looks like when I try and share it to Facebook, because I'm already logged in, it will come up with the opportunity to post to my wall, and I have the link here. So that will display a link on my Facebook wall and my friends and family can then come and view the collection. If you know a little bit about Facebook, you can actually customise it as well. So you can show it to everyone, you can show it to friends, you can show it to only certain people, you could choose to show it only to wedding guests who are on your Facebook friend list. So, the list is endless if you're kind of a little bit clever and kind of can customise it. So that concerns the whole collection. If we want to talk about an individual photo, so you might have a favourite from the collection that you want to share on Facebook, on Twitter, put on Pinterest, then you just need to click into it. So one of my favourite photos from this collection is this one. So you can see at the top we have the same selection of options. We can download, we can favourite and we can share. So again, you've got all your sharing options, and this time they're little icons. So if I wanted to pop it on Pinterest, I can click P, And again, that will come up with my Pinterest logon, and I can kind of type in a little bit about the collection and it will link back to the gallery. So we're just waiting for that to load. So I can choose one of my boards. I've got, you know, all sorts of silly ones about bits and bobs, but I can choose to put it, and then I can kind of put it on there as a pin. So that will link back to the gallery so people can come and view the whole thing. We also can download individual images. So this one is much simpler. It's ideal if you've got guests that might want to download a couple of images. So they might want some of the group shots or pictures of them. And it means that they don't have to harass you for images. They can just download one or two. So if I click download, you'll see basically that will go over here, and he's in Safari and he's downloading. So he'll pop up in just a second. What guests? Here we go. That should come up in preview in just a second. Here we are. So what guests can't do is download every single image, and that's why you get a pin, and that just means that, you know, it's for you, and you can kind of protect who downloads the images a bit. Of course, you can share the pin with people, so if you want to share it with your parents, then that's absolutely no problem at all. There's no limit on the number of complete downloads that can happen from the gallery. This just means, you know, if you've got kind of a distant cousin who wants one or two, then, you know, they can have it without having to ask you. Another nifty little feature that it's got is that you can select favourites. So if I click here, you will see that a little window pops up. If I just put my email in, so if I type this and then was to click save, it would create a favourites list which is linked to my email address. So that means that I can then send my favourites to friends, family, or I can use them to communicate with the photographer. So if I was kind of reversing that situation, if a client wanted to book an album, they could then go into this and choose their favourite images, and then they could send me the link so that I can view them and then pull their album proofs together. So if I just click save with my email address, you'll notice that actually I have got a little section here which is just my favourites. So, and the heart is now red as opposed to clear. So if I go back to pre-wedding shoot, then, and find that image, where has he gone? He's just over here. The heart's red, and on these ones it's white. So that indicates that it's in favourites. I can also, which is really nice, is view a slideshow. So you can just click slideshow and it starts playing. And it's a really great way to kind of view all of the images in, you know, in a kind of sync, and sort of to view them as a story. So it's going a little bit crazy there, I think, because it's kind of catching up with itself. But normally it's a nice, smooth kind of flow, so you can kind of view all of the images that way. Okay, so I hope that's been a quickish introduction to Pixieset and how it might be useful to you, and how you can download and share and do loads of exciting things. For me, it really kind of is the future of how to share images, because it means that we don't have to have any physical products in terms of, you know, environmental resources and all of that stuff. And it just means that, you know, we live in a world where things are instant and available, a click of a button, and it just means you have to wait a little bit less time to get your wedding photos. So for all these reasons, I really like it. If you've got any questions at all, then feel free to get in touch. My email address is ellie@elliegillard.com, and I'd be delighted to answer all of your questions. All right, thank you, bye.